Good day and welcome to Sport On, the flagship sports program of True Vision Online Television. On this maiden episode of the program, we shall delve into the Victor Osimhen transfer saga which has been generating controversies. It is no longer news that the formidable Nigerian striker Napoli forward failed to secure his preferred deal before the close of the transfer window after being initially linked to the likes of Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain and the Saudi side Al Ahly. Today's guest to discuss and dissect the intricacies surrounding the situation with us is none other than esteemed veteran sports journalist Ikedi Isiguzo, who at various times was the sport editor, deputy editor, and the chairman of the editorial board of Vanguard newspapers. Isiguzo, an erudite commentator on national and global affairs, is currently the editor-in-chief of Momentum Africa. My name is Gabriel Atumei, your host on this maiden edition of the program. Mr. Isiguzo, welcome to True Vision Sport On program.
Thanks.
So we know the Nigerian sports and in particular the Nigerian football landscape has been, for fans, lovers of football, they've been filled, with stories and news about this transfer saga involving our very own Victor Osimhen. And people have been saying because of his intention, leaving Napoli and taking a new club and being linked to Chelsea and the Saudi Arabian giant Al Ahly, and currently going to Galatasaray. So I would like to hear your opinion on these issues that has divided Nigerians, with Chelsea fans ardently saying they have failed to live up to the expectations of Nigerian football lovers.
What we are looking at is sports business,
Yes, sir.
and the way it works and so on. So when you create value, you attract a lot of attention. And players today are essentially like commodities that are displayed. People know their quality, people know their values. And then at different points, clubs like Napoli interested in selling Osimhen at a particular price. They will make money that way. Then there's also the involvement of agents who are interested in what percentage of whatever is going on they will get. They too will make money. The various clubs come with different options. Some want him under certain terms, including a loan, which is what the Turkish club eventually got. The player hardly has any strong views on what happens. That's what most people should know. Hardly any strong views, because the evaluations are made of the player, how much they think he's worth in the market, and then it's for the agents to look for people who could pay that amount and so on. So all those considerations are there, and even this amount being paid under different terms, how long will he be staying? Are there options within the contract? Like what we found out now, Napoli has still an interest in him, in that contract, which is why he has fired his agent. So I think he didn't want to do anything again with Napoli.
And I think Napoli too don't want to do anything with him. We know their relationship
No, but they have.
has been.
No, they still the way they're looking at it. If he's on loan, he's still our player. The details might not matter. So that when he comes out from this loan and he's in the market again, they'll make some money off that.
Yes.
So that's why they're interested in that. And himself, he didn't expect that in the course of the contract. So which club he goes to is a matter of who will meet several conditions that he will set. In a way, outside the exposure of the Premier League, the Premiership, I wouldn't have wanted him to go to England and not to Chelsea. Chelsea would take his value down a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
So you think that's why he rejected that Chelsea offer?
I don't know which other conditions we are not met. So Chelsea won't add any value to him. He was so bent on a team. A number one consideration for him was a team that would be in the Champions League, and of course that wasn't going to work with Chelsea anyway. So the Turkish team now that he's taken, it's just a last resort. In Saudi Arabia, I don't know what happened again there, because once there is a lapse in time where these negotiations are going on, the people are looking for other options. They're looking for other options. Some teams in certain places have enough players to win the league. But then what they would also want to do is to use the presence of those players to attract more businesses for themselves. Or then if they are selling, they know they will get more value for that. So that's what happened. It's not an issue of where he wants to go fully being decided by him.
So, but there are some that, but the two, they have their own preferences, and they too,
Who,
they
the
act
players?
the players.
Yes, they do. They don't act on their own. Most of the times it's the agent who does that. In fact, a player can't talk to the other team. It's considered illegal. So even if the player had said, this is what I want, the agent goes on there to try to negotiate those things within what is available, and then comes back to brief the player. So it's not in the player's hand all the way. But the good thing about going to Turkey, I believe you get a lot of play time. There's still the January window. But I think why it's kicking now that Napoli is in any way involved with his contract is when that January window comes now, he will not want Napoli to be involved. So maybe before then they would have done a lot more negotiations and get Napoli out of the way.
But why? So there are some people who think that the offer, maybe Chelsea, where they stalled or they delayed the process so that they could cajole him into signing that contract, knowing that the transfer window was short.
As I said, it's a business. Everybody has, every team or whatever has something he's playing with. As you were saying, maybe they were waiting to a point that, in quote, he'll be desperate. And he really got to that. If he didn't get the Turkish team, no football. No football. And then how does one evaluate you for the January window if you've not been playing?
So why do you think Chelsea were unable to pay? Some people talk about them having a new structure. But I think having a new structure for a player like Victor Osimhen, if you know the quality of that player, why wouldn't they go out and get what they want if they really want to be a top team in European football?
It's also not entirely in their hands. There are rules now and regulations about salary ceilings and so on. That is one. And since Abramovich left or was forced to leave, Chelsea has gone through a lot of crisis with finance and even organization. So if people are saying they can pay, I don't know how much they really have and how that will impact on the whole thing they were doing. If they were in Champions League, it would have even been a little better. You earn more money, you play, you earn more money, TV rights and so on. But they are not there. They are not there.
So how do you think this Saudi club, Al Ahly, how do you think their offer impacts the transfer market? And what does that say about their ambition? Because they've been linked with Messi and Ronaldo in the past. So I think they are quite ambitious.
Okay. I think the Saudi offers and so on, the way I look at it, I think is the larger picture of gaining a lot of attention for Saudi Arabia, not just the club. Football is now being played in Saudi Arabia by top players. You might look at them as some retirement thing or whatever, but however, they started with players who were retiring. China did a bit of that, and they now moved away from that, and they're attracting active players. Even if they are not active players, they're influential players. What Ronaldo can do at 40 or whatever age, so many players can do all those things in a lifetime. So it's drawing attention to Saudi Arabia. And if you saw what they did at the World Cup, some people might think it's a flash. I think they're using all this to grow football in Saudi Arabia. Motivate their people. It's very difficult to motivate someone who has everything almost free. But they want to motivate their people, especially the very young ones, so that they can see Ronaldo playing in Saudi Arabia. They can see other such influential players, and over time, they start playing real football. Countries that look at themselves as ongoing businesses try to extend their influence in different ways. And sports is a very solid platform for doing that. So I think that's what they are doing. They will shell out the money, they will do everything to get those people in, not just for the club itself, but for the larger benefit of the country in terms of developing football. Just watch after they've done with football. I mean, football, mass crowds, and a lot of attention. They will go into other sports doing that. You see Qatar and the other ones doing that with athletics. So it's a way of drawing a lot of
But
attention.
we think that means they are breaking out of their conservative,
No,
traditional conservatism.
they would with time. They would. But instead of now telling people, okay, this is what they are doing, they are bringing in people who will attract those young ones. They have practically anything you need, best facilities. This is just to get their own people to be involved in sports.
What lessons can we learn from this transfer saga? What does it tell us about the priority or the goal of Victor Osimhen? Is he looking for fame or is he looking for fame and money? What lessons can we learn? How can we
Well,
understand?
I've told people, I've said it a couple of times. We have challenges with motivating our players, but it's the other way around. You know, we grow up in relative poverty, then make some money, and not just some money, much beyond what you can imagine, and then have lifestyles that even a dream you wouldn't dream that way, you know, because a lot of your imagination come into dreams. So when you have such a player, and that impacts our national team, it's difficult. What are you going to give him, a national award or none other? The next day, he might be coming into the stadium, he's kicked out. Or some, you know, there's no special places for him to sit in a stadium or so. Very little things. You know, so when you have that, you find out that those players become a lot distracted by what is before them. I don't know what you asked. I don't know what Victor's focus is today, but he has a lot of work to do in terms of what he wants to be. If it's money, he has made it. If it's fame, a bit of it. But over time, people will be judging him. What did you win? Did you win Nations Cup? Did you win the World Cup? Did you win the World Club Cup? You know, things like that. Because you're a footballer, you're not a film star or just some other or a musician or what. So those are the things that will be used in
But
judging.
like African players, they don't seem to be quite keen about these things.
No, that's what I'm telling you. It's something we have to deal with. Not you win one match at a go, you won this. No, what next? And it does not have to come from even the players themselves. When they're in camp, what do the coaches teach them and so on? Because most of the coaches, when they talk, what do they tell them? Sometimes we dispense with psychologists. They also need them to tell them these things. There are more things to do. You know, I don't see a Ronaldo going into irrelevance quickly, even if it's 10 years after leaving football. And when we are talking of leaving football, it might not just be that he has stopped playing. There will be things he's doing. You're talking of Osimhen. The school that he went to, where is that school today? You know, the academy he went to, where is it today? What happened? Is it possible that he should have been thinking of setting up structures for that academy to run? You know, as a give back to him, this is all I'm doing. Set up a proper structure so this academy can produce people. Because with his name behind it, it will work, you know? So it depends on the people who talk to him. So many people come online, they are proud to be associated with him and so on. What do you tell him? Because at 25...
passion is one thing, ambition too is another thing. Ambition, wanting to give back to society.
No, they could also work together. The passion you're talking about will drive the ambition. Then that ambition, you have it, you want to do this or what. But at 25, you have that type of money. What are the things that go through your head? And are there people who can sit you down and talk to you? And you listen to them. Well, those are the things. But people who get around him, maybe you get a selfie, you're happy, I saw it and so on. No. Are there people who can talk to him? Because as it is now, he's our biggest product. But what are the values we are getting of that product? And maybe nobody has spoken to him about that.
So, sir, in your perception, where do you think the buck lies if you look at the whole fiasco? Will you blame Victor Osimhen? Will you blame the agent? Will you blame Napoli? Or will you blame Chelsea?
Well, when you set out to get involved in a business, so many things could be for, and so many things could also be against you. Now, the system that raised him to be earning a certain amount of money is hugely responsible for what happened because that system, they got him up. That product is at this price, and their own entire workings, their lives, their commissions are hooked into how much he is sold and who has him and for how long. So those are the things. He's being guided. He's being guided by those who will take him to where they want to go. Most times, they're also looking for their own interest. They're also looking for their own interest. That's where then the type of things we are talking about come in. What does he want to do ultimately? You and that will now, because he has the money now. If it's that academy, can he resurrect it? It will give him a lot of mileage and it will even change the things he does because when he does things now, he's thinking about the future of that academy and maybe how to help younger people coming from it. So that gets him busy. That also makes him maybe sometimes if he's thinking of transfer to a club, he might be looking at a club that has a youth team that could take up some of these people. And that's how he extends his brand. Oh, this is a Victor Osimhen school, or whatever. So it's up to him and the people around him to help him. But I think he needs help. I saw a lot of chaos in that transfer, and there were no explanations. And sometimes they weren't reasoning that you say, okay, it's apparent they are doing this because of this. And with what has happened now, a lot has been deducted from his brand. Because people don't know, he said this, he didn't say this, it could be that. They are all speculations, but he needs to rebuild himself from new prisms. What he's doing now, let's just say he's going to draw a line and then pick up himself as a stronger brand. But that will depend on what he's doing, what he has planned to do. And if he hasn't, he should be thinking about it.
Finally, how do you see his move to Galatasaray? And how do you think his move will impact the Turkish Football League and eventually European Championship?
If he's healthy in the next couple of months, he'll make an impact. That's usually my fear about him. He's strong, but in doing some of those strong things, you can pull something or a little thing with him and so on. So if he's healthy, and I pray for him that he does, he would have an impact. He will have an impact. We might even see a situation where when those negotiations come up in January, they might want to keep him if he's healthy and makes the type of impact he's capable of doing. It's a softer league than the Italian league. So he should be able to do well and create that type of impact.
This is the end of our episode with Mr. Ikedi Itsuguzu on the controversy around the Victor Osimhen transfer saga. Stay on with us as weekly on this platform as we give you more sports and entertainment news.